Hello and welcome to Auction AI Deal Talk. In this episode, we're going to be looking at some of the past deals that have been going through the foreclosure auction to really see who the players are and what kind of deals were really turning out to be profitable. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to be using the deal spreadsheet that I've been building here with our latest version of Auction AI, and right now I've had it mine from 2019 all the way back to 2015, and we're running the update property sequence right now. It's about 45,000 in, so it's really about 20,000 properties. There's duplicate auctions where things have come up, so that is mining, and the end result of that is a sheet where we have the data right from Auction AI, and then formulas, some of which are in Auction AI that I have rewritten in Excel, so they're dynamic in Excel. It's kind of we're checking and rechecking that the formulas make sense and then work as intended and take into account all the data that we have at hand. So a lot of exciting things happening with Auction AI. We've also just finished relaunching the site, auctionartificialintelligence.com. We were shuffling around different servers. We were trying different things out. There's definitely going to be one final move, but to be able to give people access to the data that we have right now, it's actually, you just need to register for an account. We don't even have it locked down for the pay subscription, so you can go in for a limited time and be able to just register and see the properties that are there. Some of the properties will have the image on it. We are still working with the APIs to be able to fine tune it, and all the properties should be showing the images, but we are editing right now the information that displays and tweaking what are some of the most important things. So definitely the address, and then we have the city, the state, the zip code, and then right below it we have the status and a little more detailed, so what happened to the property and then at what amount it happened or is happening, and then the date in which it happened. So this is just on the home page. You can see a bunch of properties that are come up now. Looks like we're getting some errors where there's properties in the middle of Florida, and what this is, it's likely missing an address, but it has something to do with Florida, so it's just kind of placed it, and it may have some kind of address information, so we'll be sorting those out of the list, or at least getting them to the right place. And this is where the software and becoming a member is going to really help the Auction AI database, is because once you can go in and look at the information, you'll be able to tweak the information and edit the information, and then those edits will reflect not only in your account but across the network, and when somebody else does that, you will be the beneficiary of those changes and those edits, and will always be able to edit it back or edit it towards a more correct form. So check out Auction Artificial Intelligence and register, and you can take a look at all the deals. So if we click on one of the properties, this property seems to keep coming up, it's going to take us to this page, and on this page, this is the listing page. We can see the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the square footage, what the price per square foot is at $275,000. So it's $219 a square foot. And this is just a property that's sold to the plaintiff. So you can see what we've put right out at the top are some of the most important things to the investors. So the market value is $147,000. The potential profit that we've calculated is negative $106,000. So we are not thinking that this is a good deal. We would advise against it, but maybe someone else is seeing something different. But these are our evaluations. So here's what it rents for, $1,200 a month. And let's compare that to what Zillow is saying it rents for. And we can do, we're calculating our own rents for amount. So we are not taking this information from Zillow. So let's see what Zillow thinks though, and that'll give us a kind of ballpark. And obviously it could be both Zillow and Auction AI can be wrong, but Zillow tends to be in the right area, in the right range. And so Zillow is saying $1,800 a month. We're saying $1,200, so there's like a $600 discrepancy. So I mean, a good rental is probably around $1,500, $1,600. Maybe you can pull $1,800. So it's definitely within the ballpark. And this property, it's a 2-2, I believe. 2-2. So this property went through the auction January 7, 2016, so a couple years ago. It has a final judgment, $275, winning bid, and then it had a surplus, so it had a negative surplus because of what it sold to the plaintiff for. Sold to the plaintiff for $115. But really there would be the full negative surplus because no one else bid. Market value, and then we have the potential profit formula. So how are we getting this number up here? Negative 106,000. Well, we have the breakdown, 147,000 minus 275,000 plus the rental profit available. So based on when it was sold, what we do is to see if it would have been a deal by this time. So if a third-party bidder had won it, then there's a potential rental profit of $45,000 based on it renting for $1,200 a month times the amount of months that it's been, up to the current date. And then we have an estimated rehab cost, $12,530, and I mean that can vary wildly, but we're estimating the rehab's going to cost something. So we can at least, now it may be less than that, it may be more than that, which will change the numbers, but the number is taken into account a rehab cost, and we have a couple different variables to figure that out. Then we have the court fees, which is directly from the auction site we are calculating, and it's subject to change or be changed if we see something, but it's the way Broward actually lays it out pretty good. If you go to broward.realforeclose.com and you go to the FAQ, here we go. We'll just shortcut it real quick. So it's 1.5%, and you can see in their FAQ how the auctions work, and we're dealing with Broward County. Right now on our site is just Broward County. We are developing the Miami-Dade and Palm Beach, and they should be up soon. But right now we have Broward County, and we're going to be extending Broward County as far back as we can go, and then putting that up. So you'll be able to have a full library of Broward County, and making sure that for any given property you could see all of the auction history that would be available. and the case numbers and things like that. And then any properties that do get manually researched or manually verified, that data can start reflecting on the site as well. And we're going to go into some of the things that we're looking at right now that should be getting put into the site. And that's why you should become a member, to be able to see what's going on and get access to some of this higher level information. So the closing cost, we're also adding in there. So on a resale of the property, if there's a resale, whatever the resale would be, if it's resold at market value is what it's assuming. So the property sold for 147 minus the 275 plus any rent that you would get between the sale. Now, some people wouldn't collect rent, but we would definitely advise towards rent. But if that's not, then you could just remove that number. And then the rehab costs can go up or down. The court fees are pretty stable, and the taxes are pretty reliable because it's based on what the market value, and the market value is from the appraiser. We're using the appraiser information. So the taxes would be around that amount based on what the market value is, minus the closing costs gives us our potential profit. Then we have a rental estimate, and then which we have at $1,200 a month. Then we have an HOA, which will be 0, is likely it's unavailable, or possibly it's 0. And then sometimes you will see when that's available, the dollar amount. And then the months of rent, we have 229. So 229 is definitely not a rental deal, but if it was, that would be a low number. And then we have an all data found, and we're tweaking the all data found to be able to include all the case numbers, all the auction dates, all the best bids, and all the auction statuses. And these would be other auctions that it has been found in. So then we have the appraiser address, the parcel ID, the current property owner, and their mailing address. And we have the property valuation. So we have a estimate wholesale value, an assessed value, and a market value. Sometimes those differ. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,253 square feet, built in 1959. The taxes due is being modified at the moment so that it can be included. So right now there's an issue in retrieving the taxes due, but that should be solved momentarily. And then we have the taxes paid and the average taxes paid per year, so that $2,200 amount. So the last sale information, the last sale, just like the taxes due, we are having an issue retrieving it, but it should be here soon. And then we have the last sale price, the last sale type, the last sale, the document number, and then a link to be able to go see it. And you could see the date, 2017. So the other thing you can actually click on, and I'm going to make this a little more visible. Well, here you can click to see the final judgment. You can actually click the case number to be able to access the case in a pretty fast way. So we're going to be using these links to actually achieve that, and it should work pretty well. Being able to retrieve the property. So we'll use the case link. Let's close all the tabs, and then we can see the final judgment. So that one's pretty clear. So we'll add something that says, click to see it. So with that being said, what we can do, and so there's a little more, the tax collector, the last sale. Then we have all the data source links. So if you just want to zoom down and go to just have a place that has all the links in place, you can come down here and it pretty much is going to give you everything you need. So you'll be able to jump right to the auction date and find this property, you could jump right to the appraiser. It'll take you right to the tax bills. It'll take you right to the map in the appraiser. It'll take you right to the subdivision sales. It'll take you right to the case search with the case number of the auction already searched. So you can see exactly who's foreclosing and then do your due diligence. And then it'll take you right to Zillow. And we try to make sure that these links work as completely as possible, but sometimes just based on how the address is formatted, it may not resolve. A parcel ID may not resolve, but this one, everything seems to be working as it should, which is fantastic. So if all this is pretty much your notes that you can then use to always reference back to, and then you can always go to the source and come back to one place and see what's going on. Then you also have a map that you can expand with the property already pointed out, so you can street view it if it's available. And sometimes in street view you get put in turned around, so you can just turn around and the icon will be there and you can see the property. So it's pretty functional. Missing some variables, but those should be added, and we're going to be adding a lot more in the coming days, weeks, and months that Auction AI is getting developed. So if you are interested in buying auction properties, and what I'm about to show you is why you should be interested, because of all the great deals that are going on a regular basis, and the difference between a good deal and a bad deal is having and understanding the due diligence and research in regards to a property. So you really need two things. It's having the capital, the cash in the bidder account, and the cash to close the next day. And that's what's also so great about the auction, is how fast you can get a deal in your hands, contract in hand, and how fast it moves. So the auction moves very fast. It's 9:01 a.m. right now, so in Miami-Dade. The auction has just started, and someone's bidding, or perhaps the plaintiff is bidding $280,100 in the Miami-Dade auction. And if we wanted to see what's happening now, we're doing Broward, and I've actually cleaned out the database for Miami-Dade for testing purposes, but so we have 0 properties and 0 auctions. What we can do is actually mine today's date. So today is 4/22/2019, and we can create a quick list of what's going on in Miami today. We can actually see them being added right here. So let's see really quickly what's going on today. Let's make sure that we paused Broward. Okay, good. And the auction windows over here, it's actively mining this page. So it's mining now this window down here of everything that's been canceled. I think the auction's running is let's mine today. Well, we can actually just run it from the sequence. And let's just run a quick sequence. And then let's run the update property sequence. And let's let it get a couple of days. Of auctions. And let's go evaluate real quick. So we can and should already be able to open these up and sort by the potential profit. So this one has, so it looks like there's one deal that would be worth looking at today so far. I think it's still looking, are we still looking at today? We're still looking at today, but I believe everything that's active has been looked at. So this property, we have it true, and it's still going up for auction. So it looks like it's a property out in Homestead. So this property just has one auction today because we've only mined today. And we need to grab the information real quick. So let's go to the appraiser. Let's grab the appraiser information. Fantastic. Let's go grab some of the public record information. So it's going to grab the sales, and it's doing that in another window. Let's grab the tax bills. Okay, it looks like it's doing tomorrow's bid of auctions right now. I'm going to turn off the, we'll just turn all both these off right now because it's going pretty crazy in the other window here. So let's see now, auctions. We should be able to display 500. Let's see if we can do 500. Looks like we only have 66. So let's sort. Oh, I guess it wouldn't know just yet because it needs the appraiser information. So let's have that run. We can keep checking back if we have any other potential deals for today. So, and on this property, what's going on is it's still updating the public records. And so this property we can actually see. It looks like it's a townhouse, and it's this end townhouse here. That's funny, you could see some roofing that's going on, so you can already, doesn't look like we could street view, but we can do this very interesting 45-degree view. And we could see the owner timeline. It looks like it's all corporations. So in 2013, it looks like the bank sold it to Global Approach, and then Global Approach sold it to Walter Walls Bright Prop. So it's a quit claim deed, and then it was a deed, so they just quit claimed it. So this deed, what we need to see, And it's a shame we have the document viewer that we have actually on a previous version, but in this version, with the testing that's going on, we don't have the document viewer available. But there will be an instant document viewer where you should be able to click and see the documents. Let's see if anything else has come up as a better deal while the auction happens live. So we were going to talk about Broward, but Miami has a head start of the auction starting by an hour. So Broward will start in about, well, no, it actually won't because it's Monday. So Broward is Tuesday through Friday, and Monday is like, I mean, Miami-Dade is Monday through Thursday generally, so which makes it an all-week thing. And then Palm Beach is, I believe it's like Monday to Thursday. And then other counties have their own schedule. Some are 1 day a week, some are 3 days a week. So enough counties, you are busy all the time. Potential profit. Ooh, look at this. Look at this potential profit. Northeast 121st Road. What is this? This one's closed, canceled. Okay. So we need to see. So what is a deal? We can bring these up to the top. So we have two things. We have the potential profit, and then we have the potential deal. So there may be more potential profit in one deal or another, but it's not a deal per se because of what you're paying for. So like this property is a $500,000 property, and there's $122,000 profit. And so you'd have to put up 383. Here there's 67. Here there's 11,000 for 200,000. And here it's 800,000 for 2.4 million. But that was canceled. So out of these 5 at the top, which ones are canceled? So we just highlight them, we scroll over to the right, and we see these 3. So we can eliminate these 2. So these 3 we want to now take a look at. So out of these 3, which one looks like the best deal? Does 383 for 500 sound good? Now it may be 383 for 500 may be good. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. So this one may be a deal. We're scraping the tax bills. We can also do Zillow, but we're not finding the information for Zillow. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And we're gonna always be looking for ways to improve the amount of times that we can, which there's definitely things that can be done. So it looks like it's this property right here. 556. This would be in an interesting area. Northwest 17th Ave. 2-2. Last sold for 196 in 2000. 500,000 may be a stretch. Glad we took a look at that. So let's see this one for 16,000. They're starting at 16,000. You can get 84,000. Okay, so it's a unit in this apartment that's on the water. That's pretty nice. There's like a boat dock in the back, and it's on this island here. So this one's pretty interesting. Let's go get our in-depth sale information. It's a 812 square feet, built in 1971. Okay. Let's see the taxes. Balance. So there's some taxes due. Okay. And the owners, it's still mining that other property. I wonder if we can start this one. Let's try it. And what's good about it is that it's always saved. So even if the program crashes or something, all of your things are saved. You got a secure database. It's on your local computer. So right now it just crashed. It's trying to do 2, which is fine because now we can see where we should really prioritize our energy, which is what Auction AI is really for. And all of our changes have been saved, you know, up to the last change that was written. Every time it writes a change. So what we want to start doing is jump into the appraiser and have it continue mining the appraiser. Looks like we're up property 159, so it's just about done. And then we want to go into the auctions tab. Ooh. Let's go into the auctions tab first. Auctions. There we go. Display. We just need to display 100 because we only have 66. And then let's check out, or let's sort by the potential profit. Let's see what we have now. All right, so we just have those same 3. We already checked that top one, so we're down to 2. We're looking at this apartment, which looks pretty nice and has a bigger market value. So this is the best deal that we have on the map so far. Let's continue mining and see if we find another deal. And now while we look at this deal, we have the owner timeline, which is good. Let's run the public records, and now we just have maybe updating the appraiser at the same time. Okay. Let us jump back into it. Oh. Okay. So it looks like it's already sorted. It's definitely sorted. Okay, so we're looking at these two. Here we go. And we're looking at this one right now. And we have the whole owner timeline. And now let's just do the public records. And let's let it go do its search. And what we should be able to see is we should just check out this case number right here. And we're going to do a manual check. Eden, oh, okay, so it's the condo association. And yeah, we really jumped on a little tangent there. But that's some of the capabilities of what Auction AI can do. We can sort through and find the deals real quick. And what we should actually do, we should use some of the tools that we have, because the software is definitely a little more unstable because it's still being tested and features are still being added in. So this is where we have the website platform. Let's give it a try on the website platform. So now if we take this property that we want to look at out of the software, and let's just go search for it on auctionartificialintelligence.com. Oh, this is Miami-Dade. Well, we can add these right into auctionartificialintelligence.com because we do have them available. So this is gonna be one of the good things about it. So let me actually add these. This gives us a good pausing point here. We're gonna update the Miami-Dade properties, but let's jump back into Broward actually. And now, so why would you want to be concerned with what is going on at the auction? So what we're looking at now is we're jumping back into Broward County and Miami-Dade. What we're going to do is we're going to get a good chunk of all the updated, all the auctions, everything that's going on in Miami-Dade in the foreseeable future, and that looks back. So let us actually have it focus on that, and we'll put that in the oven, so to speak. So let's close it, let's restart it, let's have it come with a fresh start and just really build that Miami-Dade auction list. And let's get that up on the site, and then we're going to be able to have our reference page. So Miami-Dade, let's look. Let's set a nice long observation period. Ooh, look at that. It's like so many days. So let's do 120. There we go. Something nice and reasonable. Miami-Dade. And let's turn on the Discover Auctions. And let's have that go. And then let's have this run at the same time. And let's see if we can do it. You can hear the computer start revving up. Okay, so it looks like the appraiser is moving. We're just going to leave this alone and let that work diligently. Just want to see if it goes. Okay, so it looks like it's going. So we'll minimize that and we'll have that update Miami-Dade. And while Miami-Dade is getting updated, let's take a look at Broward. And let's see what we've been looking at so far, where we have, what we're doing is we're going to be building this into the software. So this is really in a research stage, but for our own research of what is going on at the auction and the opportunity that's there, we're looking at past deals and we're using the exported data from Auction AI to then go back and backtrack. And so let's take this property right here, and I have everything else minimized. There's a bunch of other columns that I have purposely hidden so that we're just looking at the parcel ID, the case number, and then we have this column COT issued. So what we're looking at is in the recorded date when the certificate of title of the auction was filed, and then when it was sold, and if there is a resale price. Now, if it was sold and there is no resale price, what we're saying is that it was sold back to the bank. So the only cash flow that could have come from that property being sold to the bank would be from rent from the time that it was obtained to the time that it was sold. So that at times reveals the winners and it reveals the losers as well. So as we input these numbers right here, we're able to find deals that are winners. Now, I've been purposely hiding these that are here, but let's take a look at everything that's not blank and everything that does have a certificate of title, and let's see how many deals that we've already found that have gone through. And it looks like we have 141 where the certificate of title is not blank. And let's remove all the other filters and let's just get to the certificate of title filter and just anything that's not blank or false. So how many certificate of titles have we found? We found 329 certificate of titles so far. We've found, now let's see how many have had a resale price greater than 0. It looks like 133 of them have been resold. So, and if we do largest to smallest, we have properties being resold from 760,000 on down. And we can see on some of these where there's a loss, heavy losses, and wins. So if we look at the resale profit, there's an average of 26,000, which is a good steady amount for flips. There's 133 of them, and there's a sum of 3.5 million. So now let's get rid of the losers. So let's just do everything that's greater than 0. So properties greater with a resale profit greater than 0. Largest to smallest. We're looking at $5.4 million in potential profit because there's still debt any payoff amounts that need to be included in there. But in these numbers, we are including rehab cost. We are including, obviously what was paid for the property, taxes and fees. So we are there could be other costs in there, but 5.4 million. And if we look at the best bid, I wonder if we can look at the best bid. And this is just a retail profit. We're also doing, if all the properties were rented before being sold, which I mean they should have been, there's an extra $1 million or so, because it's 6.9 million in total profit. So these are some interesting numbers. So to find these numbers out, we have to figure out if title was issued and it was recorded, and the bidder actually got ownership of the property, and then what happened after. And if nothing's happened yet, then we can just calculate what rent is possible, and then we can figure out if it was sold, and if it was them that sold it, if it was the bidder that got the title, if they sold it, then we know that the resale is at least going to them, and then there's some, whatever payoffs that need to be included. And then if it was sold to the bank, we know that they had it at least from when they had it to when the bank got title, and we can calculate, any rent that could be in there. Now, they may have gotten no rent or less rent, but there is definitely a potential, and the investors that work quick and can get things done are going to be able to realize these kinds of cash flows. So this is just one county, and we're looking at a portion of 2018. So if we look at everything that doesn't have that's blank, so this is some of the potential with Auction AI and the data that it generates. So now we can look at, I'm gonna have to unhide these columns. So what we can pare it down to is things that have just been won by a third-party bidder. So that eliminates a bunch of properties, and we're looking at just properties sold or auctions that happened in 2018. So now we can narrow it down to all of those, and then we want to just work on the ones that we haven't looked at just yet. So that means, let's hide all these columns. You can see why we had all these columns hidden. Let's hide all of these columns all the way to the parcel ID. And now let's just look at the ones which are blank, and let's start tallying these up. So this first one, we'll want to click it, and now this we can actually go find in Auction AI. Let's see if we can just find it by the parcel ID. Ooh, that's nice. Does that work? Third party bidder 22818. And what's the case number? Is the case number 091062? Yes, it is. So that's fantastic. So then we can go from the Auction AI site, and we can go down to our links, and we can go to the appraiser page. And in the appraiser page, we can see certificate of title, when it was recorded, and it doesn't look like it's been sold. So we'll just put in this one date. Certificate of title was issued. And nothing else happened. So let's go to the next one. And that's actually pretty nice that we can just drop in the parcel ID, let it load, go down to the links. We have everything loaded. Open the appraiser page and then see the sales history. And now we can see, so it looks like it was sold twice.